Hey there, how are you doing? We have a new angle today, and I also have Romain here joining me for today's Apéro hour.
C'est super.
He's standing on his tiptoes. I'm trying to angle this so you can see the table, mais on peut pas l'idée c'était voir la table.
Ah.
Ça marche pas.
Bah si, je vais le faire.
No, Romain is going to try to fix this. We're working with a tripod today because I thought that oftentimes you don't get to see the table. C'est super, mais c'est un peu trop. C'est un peu trop.
Oui, j'arrive.
Okay. So if my phone doesn't break,
Voilà. C'est
welcome
parfait
to
là.
my world. Super. I'm gonna.
Tu veux plus
Yes,
voir la table?
perfect. So welcome. I'm glad you joined us for today's Apéro hour, and Romain's here too, because he wanted to be a part of this, because he actually had this cocktail the other day when I was testing it out for you folks, and he loved it. And often if French people don't like something, they'll tell you, especially him. So he said he loved it. Tu aimes le cocktail?
Oui, j'ai goûté hier, c'était super bon.
And I'm not paying him to say that.
Yesterday, fabulous.
Thank you all also for joining yesterday's question and answer. It was a little long. It was 59 minutes, and I got a little thing from Instagram saying, gotta wrap it up because you only get an hour with these. But we sold out of all the books, the signed books, so thank you very much for getting a book. And I just sent off by FedEx today, which was a little process due to the lockdown, the book plates, so you should be getting the books soon, I hope. Ça va? We also might get a delivery during the production today. So Romain might run away if the phone rings. Usually when you do this, you're supposed to turn the phone off and put on Do Not Disturb. But they're going to be delivering groceries because I'm using delivery service. So that might happen, and it's life in Paris. Ça va? It's like, yeah. Il connaît très bien. So today, no. Oh, ça c'est pour toi. Actually, today, so many of you know Romain from the book, from the Rosemary Gimlet. And he's going to be here on Saturday as well, showing us cafe drinks. So that's going to be really fun. And tomorrow I have a super special guest, David Flynn, who's going to talk to us and show us. He's from Belleville Brewery. He's going to show us how to make the perfect café crème and café au lait. And he's also going to show us how to use one of these properly. And he's great. He's very interesting, and he knows a lot about coffee. Tu aimes ça?
I like.
Okay. So he's going to show us how to use one of these, how to care for them. And I'm also going to ask him if I don't remember, you're supposed to change the gasket in these every once in a while. And every time you do, you're supposed to make like a bunch of bad cups of coffee to throw away. And I always hate to do that because coffee's kind of expensive. So I'm going to ask him about that too. You're looking for more? I have a collection of these. I have about 6 or 7. And I have a really big one when I have guests stay with me that makes a lot of coffee. And they always go, that's so big. I'm like, well, if you don't want any coffee, you don't have to have any. But I like a lot in the morning. J'aime beaucoup café au lait les matins.
Mais même au lunch, après le lunch, c'est très bon.
Oh,
un café.
After lunch, a
Mocha.
coffee like that's good. Mocha, pas du lait.
No.
No. In
Wow.
France, you never have milk and coffee after a meal.
Black coffee.
Oui, pas de lait, café, crème après un repas en France.
Oui, enfin en Suisse, oui, mais en France, non.
In Switzerland, yes. And they call it in Swiss a nuage of milk, a cloud of milk or cloudiness of milk.
Germany and England,
Oui?
nuage de lait.
Nuage du lait aussi? Okay. So today's cocktail is going to be very interesting. It's called the Jumpin Genepy. And I was making sort of a variation on a white Negroni. Usually a Negroni is 3 different ingredients in equal quantities, and I started playing around with them. One of them is gin, of course. That's in a classic Negroni. The other is gentian liquor, which is suze. Tu aimes la suze?
J'aime beaucoup.
C'est vous?
C'est très bon la suze parce que c'est une amertume qui est vraiment délicieuse.
So he likes, this is gentian liquor, which has a bracing bitterness that, qu'est-ce que tu as dit?
C'est une amertume qui est vraiment délicieuse.
He said it's got a very delicious bitterness. This is it's an Emergencien made by a small company, and I think I talked about this the other day. And there's I remember after 9/11 in New York, there was a couple who were the wine columnists for the Wall Street Journal, and they started this thing that said, you know what, now's the time to drink all those wines that you've been saving for something, because we just had something. So we're in the middle. I've been saving a couple of these bottles. This is a 32% alcohol.
C'est la même famille que la suze?
Oui, mais c'est artisanal.
C'est très bon l'été avec un glaçon pur quand il fait très chaud.
He said this is very good just with ice if it's very hot. And I drink that when we play boule or pétanque with his parents. His father always drank pastis, and I don't love pastis, so I like suze. And you can buy suze in the US. It's easy to get. It's not expensive.
C'est pas ouvert.
Oui, je l'ai ouvert. So this is a artisanal one, and you can't get it in the US. It's hard to get even in France, but now I think it's more available. You can find it online. And I'm gonna open this for you because I said, I was saving all these things for a special occasion, and I was like, well, we're in the middle of this lockdown, so I think, why not? And I love this. This is not very harsh. Tu veux goûter?
Ah oui.
Ah oui.
C'est comme une bouteille avec le bouchon.
Et c'est quoi ça? And this is a wine. This is called a. C'est quoi ça?
Je vous ai compris.
It's Charles de Gaulle because he used to faire comme de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle used to stand at the window and do that.
Paris libéré, Paris martyrisé.
Oui.
Mais Paris reste Paris.
So Paris remains Paris. So in Romain reste Romain. Comme ça. That's the story of my life.
C'est vrai que ça lui ressemble beaucoup.
So this is a much milder, but much more interesting gentian liquor. And, it smells a little like straw.
Look at le bouchon est vraiment court, short.
The cork is very short. Mais c'est bon.
Il est magnifique, regarde, il y a un oiseau, une hirondelle dessus. J'adore.
Good.
It's a very nice, le bouchon.
C'est très amer, mais c'est très bon.
Ah oui? Cheers, chin.
So I asked them, I said, your label is beautiful. And they go, yeah, we had it designed in California. Oui, mais c'est très différent.
C'est beaucoup plus léger que la suze.
It's lighter than suze.
Mais pas la force de l'alcool.
Oops. But it's not so, he said it's not so strong. Mais c'est très très bon.
On sent que c'est vraiment pas industriel.
He said you can tell it's not industrial. So this costs, I think, about 30 euros in France. If you come to France, you can buy. One thing I do, a lot of people come here and they go, I wish I could buy this, I wish I could buy this. I was like, you know what, buy stuff and have it shipped to your hotel. Because I used to do that in the States. And I told a French friend of mine, I said, just have everything you want, like Sharpies, sent to your hotel at the last stop, and then put them in your suitcase and bring them. And she's like, you're amazing. I'm like, I'm an American, I know how to shop.
It's possible for the state here?
No. C'est interdit.
France.
In French. Parce qu'ils ont fait 2000 bouteilles. C'est tout. 2400 bouteilles. They made 2,400 bottles. I'm just going to scroll up here and see if you have any questions or anything. Hello in New Jersey and Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville and Miami too. Sonoma. Hi, Sonoma. Bonjour. Someone's doing their face mask and listening to me. Oh. And hello in San Jose. And Rockwell says hello to both of us. So I talked about gentian liquor, not gentian. I talked about Genepy yesterday. And this is, or was it 2 days ago? What's today? Today's Tuesday. It's a mountain herb, Genepy, and it's the herb that's used in absinthe. And you can see there's a tige in it. Ici un tige dedans. a branch inside.
Une branche de graminée?
No, de Genepy.
Oui, mais c'est un
So they
graminé.
use the yellow flower, c'est le fleur. And you can buy, if you go to the markets in Paris, especially the ones that have a lot of people from North Africa, they often sell, you can buy, they just call it absinthe. Tu peux acheter d'absinthe, les feuilles ou les tiges au marché, en France. Oui.
C'est vrai?
Oui, pour le tisane, pour une tisane.
Ah oui,
Oui, so
mais
it's
c'est
very
pas des
bitter.
branches, c'est des fleurs.
Oui, ben c'est
Ouais.
c'est comme ça, c'est le...
Ouais.
It's not really a branch, it's not really the flower. But this is Genepy liqueur from the Alps. And you drink something that you drink when you go skiing. It's supposed to thin your blood out at high temperatures. It's supposed to revive you after a day on the slope. I'm going to open this too. So ça, c'est intéressant. So we went to Dolan Distillery when I was working on my book. It was very interesting. Nous sommes allés chez Dolan, Chambéry.
Ouais.
C'était super bon. This is pretty mild. Oui, c'est très doux. C'est pas comme ça. This is another Genepy made by the Chartreuse monks. It's much stronger.
Delicious. C'est très délicat. Very delicate. Ça a un peu la
We're
même
just gonna
famille.
keep tasting all these things.
C'est un peu la même famille que la chartreuse, mais en version très légère.
Oui. So Genepy or wormwood is the same thing that's used in absinthe. C'est le même herbe dans l'absinthe, mais un autre species. Un autre, so this is what the one from the Chartreuse brothers looks like. C'est très différent.
Ah oui. J'adore cette bouteille.
He said he loves this bottle. It's meant to be put in your back. It's a skier.
The pocket.
Yeah. Bonjour, cat. How are you? And somebody likes your scarf. Quelqu'un aime ton foulard.
Et ça, c'est meilleur que ça. Enfin, non, c'est différent.
He said this one is better than the other, and then he said no, it's just different.
It's a very, very
He's
different.
learning from me to be diplomatic.
This one for the very charmant. Et,
It's very charming,
mais vraiment très équilibré.
comme toi,
Et-
ou comme moi.
Et
It's
ça,
like me, charming and equilibrium.
et ça c'est un petit peu plus sec
He said this one's drier.
et rapidement consommé dans la bouche.
He said it's easy to drink in your mouth. So, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and make the cocktail and move these behind, and we'll have those later for a little digestive. Genepy's good after a meal, anything with herbs. Parisians love cherry tomatoes, so he got some cherry tomatoes for the apéro. So when I started writing Drinking French, I bought these jiggers because I had seen my friend Jeff using them and other bartenders, and they would pour something in them and then turn it out. And I was so, and he taught me how to pour, he tried to teach me how to pour so that there was a little, you call it the meniscus, I guess. So it just reaches the top of the jigger, but doesn't go over. And I guess once you've poured thousands of jiggers of liquor, you can do that. I didn't ever master that. I did sort of get the thing, but I don't want to do it today because I know that if I do it, it's going to fall all over the counter. So je fais pas ça aujourd'hui.
Tu fais pas recto verso.
Ouais.
Tu veux que je mette la caméra un peu plus comme ça?
He's asking if we want to change the camera. Oui, peut-être.
Légèrement.
I don't know why he's wearing a scarf because it's really hot.
Comme
But
ça,
Parisians often wear them even in August
c'est vachement
when
bien.
it's super hot. They go, oh, it's very cool. I mean, cool. It's like living in a country full of Jewish mothers. So, 1.5 ounces. Oops, I'm going to put my glasses on. 1.5 ounces of gin. Tu aimes du gin?
Oui, j'aime beaucoup, oui.
Okay.
J'aime beaucoup le genièvre.
He likes gin and he likes juniper. Voilà. The next thing that's going to go in is suze or gentian liquor. So we'll use a 1/2 ounce of suze or gentian liquor. that would be the other side of this. And this is lighter than suze, so it might be better to use a little bit more of it, but c'est comme ça. And the third ingredient is very interesting. You can use, I made this with Cap Corse, which is a Corsican apéritif. And in Corsica, tu aimes la Corse?
Oui.
Right. He likes Corsica very much.
It's a very different paysage.
Very different
C'est
countryside.
très différent chaque kilomètre.
He said every kilometer is different. Mais tu aimes conduire là?
Beaucoup.
I asked him if he liked driving there. C'est vrai parce que tu avais beaucoup de peur.
Oui, parce que les routes sont pas possibles.
Right. It's very difficult to drive there. But this is Cap Corse, and it's a liqueur from Corsica. And it's made with muscat grapes and vermentino grapes. Muscat grapes are sort of spicy on the spicy side. So it gives the apéritif a very kind of lilting thing, sort of like vermouth. So I'm going to use it in...
Vermouth.
Oui, c'est comme vermouth, mais c'est un peu comme lillet. It's very fruity and herby as well. So it's similar to lillet. So if you like lillet, this is something to try. Tu aimes?
Mais c'est pas la même bouteille qu'il y avait chez Christine.
No, il y a rouge,
Ouais.
ou, there's red and there's white.
Ah oui.
So another thing, in my book, Drinking French, I have recipes for infusions. I have recipes for homemade infusions. It's very interesting. I was thinking about them when I was mixing this drink and also when I was writing the book, because a lot of times you can make a different drink if you substitute something else in it for one ingredient. So let's say a drink calls for white or dry vermouth, and if you use an orange-based quinine liquor, such as quinine apéritif or liqueur like this, it's a different drink, but good. And somebody wrote to me yesterday and said she made the sidecar from the book, and she decided to, instead of using sugar syrup, she made the ginger syrup from the book and used that, which is a great idea because it has lemon and gin, or lemon and, with the lemon, it's great to have ginger.
C'est ça?
No, ça c'est un snack.
Ouais.
So some of the liquors that I made for the book as I was trying it out, this is a vin de sureau, or wine from elderflowers. Some friends I discovered had a elderflower tree when I was at their house out in the suburbs here, and I picked them all, and they go, take them all, take them all, take them all. So of course I'm greedy, so I took them all, and I spent 3 days, les sureaux, I spent 3 days standing at this counter picking flowers, making sureau, vin de sureau, liqueur, maison.
Ça c'est le paradis.
So that's a really interesting flavor. You could add this to it. It's very fruity, but flowery, floral. This is a homemade vermouth, which I made 2 years ago, and I aged it in a barrel. I have a cocktail barrel. I have 2, actually. So you can make your own vermouth. There's a recipe for it in the book. And ça, c'est vermouth fait maison.
Oh là là.
Tu aimes?
Oui, c'est incroyable la différence.
I told him he had to only say nice things in front of the camera.
En fait, ça, c'est des amers.
No, pas forcément.
Ça, c'est pas un amer.
No, he's asking if they're all bitters. So this is something called liqueur 44, and it's sort of a cult thing in France. You put 44 sugar cubes in it. I think it's 44 cloves de girofle, an orange, and you come up with this sort of orangey liqueur, and it's very easy to make.
Ah, c'est bon. Ça sent la peinture. J'aime beaucoup.
Oh, he said it smells like painting, and he's like, I love it.
I love it.
So this is really good to use instead of lillet in cocktails. You can have this over ice like you would lillet. It's called liqueur 44. I don't have a fancy bottle. I just.
Tu vois ça?
Oui. And this is vin d'orange made with bitter oranges. You can make it with navel oranges.
Ah oui, ça sent le...
That's good. So these are all something you can use instead of Cap Corse in this cocktail. So I'm going to repeat the recipe because I can't take the camera down because it's on this tripod. It's got this wire thing around it. But the recipe, just once again, it's 1.5 ounces of gin, a 1/2 ounce of suze or gentian liqueur, and then 1 ounce of Lillet or Cap Corse or similar. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 ounce of this. Cap Corse. I like saying Cap Corse. I don't know why.
En fait, c'est facile, c'est à chaque fois la même proportion.
Oui.
Very simple.
And the last ingredient, the reason this is called Jumpin Genepy is because it has Genepy in it. So I can use a half teaspoon of this or a full teaspoon, I think, of this because this is less strong. So I'm going to add, j'ajoute un
Mais
peu.
tu en as déjà? Ah oui, un petit peu plus.
Whoops. What's funny is when I did the question and answer yesterday, a lot of people were asking me, how long does that keep? How long does this liquor keep? How long does this liquor keep? And how long does vermouth keep? And so forth. And people are very into conservation. And there was a really good article in the New York Times today by Kenji. And he talked about how expiration dates don't mean anything and how people eat things. Il y a un article dans le New York Times aujourd'hui. Et par sur les dates d'expiration, ça fait rien. Ça fait aucun.
Oui, c'est connu.
Yeah, he said he goes. That's very well known because in France they eat. You know, they're not as throw stuff away as oh the date limit, I can't drink it. So that was a big question. It was funny because I posed that question to a distiller here in France. I said people are always asking me about how long things keep and how long I can keep them. And he goes, tell them it keeps as long as it still tastes good. So that's my answer, and I'm not answering that anymore. I'm gonna get a T-shirt. So the 4 ingredients are in here: the gin, the gentian liquor or suze, the Lillet or Cap Corse, and a little bit of Genepy in the bottle that Romain likes. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this about 2/3 of the way full with ice. Tu aimes les glaçons? Romain loves ice. If you come to France, a lot of Americans come to France, they go, how come there's no ice in the cafe? We need ice, we need ice. He loves ice too. So you want to stir it. If you don't, I'm doing a post for my blog on cocktail equipment because there's a lot of questions that people have. Like, can I buy this? Do I need to buy this? Do I need to buy that? And you can use a chopstick to do this. You can use a soup spoon. You basically want to turn it around and get it really cold. That's the idea of stirring a cocktail. The other thing you're trying to do is dilute it a little because you don't want to have otherwise you're just drinking straight alcohol. And the dilution, les diluer les liqueurs, c'est bon.
C'est comme le whisky avec de l'eau.
Yeah, you always, when we went to Scotland last year, they bring you a little bit of water to put in your scotch to sort of dilute it so you can actually taste the scotch better and not just the alcohol. So, tu cherches un verre. And I'm gonna see, oh, Lori SF, you're welcome for making it, she's saying thank you for making staying at home more enjoyable. And you're making my stay at home enjoyable too. We're here together, but it's nice to have you folks out there and he goes to work sometimes. Normally, tu mets dans le...
Comme ça?
No, je vais montrer. And, so, this is an old strainer. So I use it like this. Somebody said, oh, I've never seen anyone use it like that. So some people will use that, will do it like that. I find it easier to hold it like this. So whatever's easy for you. There's no right or wrong, I don't think. Et le pamplemousse?
Ah oui.
And this isn't as yellow as the one that I put online because Suze is much more yellow. It's got some coloring in it, I believe. So it's super yellow, but this is natural color. So thank you for making that comment, by the way. It's very nice. It's a good way to connect. It's actually nice to say thank you to people. I mean, I say thank you all the time to people. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? I brought out the European because I thought he'd have easier. So Melissa va flipper on the So Melissa Clark was doing a thing with me. She did lavender lemonade here on my Apéro hour, and she was so careful to get all the white off. And this is Romain's.
No, c'est l'outil qui est pas bon.
He said so the utility's not good.
It's okay?
J'accepte.
Non, encore plus
Oui,
fin.
ça va.
Encore plus fin.
Non, ça
Ok.
va, ça va.
Je m'améliore.
Je vais sauvegarder le jeu. He said I can do it better.
Voilà. Regarde. Ah, t'as coupé sur la table.
So it's going to make a little grapefruit twist. You could use a lemon twist. You could use orange. Et voilà. And this is the Jumpin Genepy.
Ah, c'est joli.
He said it's
Look.
beautiful. Tu peux faire ça?
Non. Là, je veux.
Goûte.
Goûte-toi. C'est à toi l'honneur.
Ah. Ah oui, c'est beaucoup plus raffiné avec ça. So I said it's much more refined than with the other kind of gentian liquor. So fortunately here in France we can get a lot of these things, but you know, you can buy these things in America. I did a lot of research to it.
Oui. C'est différent de celui d'hier soir.
Wait, you said so it's different than when we had yesterday?
Yesterday, it's a suze naturel.
Oui, le suze. So, he didn't turn his phone off, so he's reading his messages. C'est bon?
Oui, c'est délicieux.
C'est très bon. So I did, like I was saying, I did do research and saw what was available in the U.S. And actually, there's amazing French liquors available in the U.S. Astor Wine in New York is a very good store. K&L in San Francisco is very good. Those are just two, and they'll ship. But most liquor stores, most of these you can buy. This I just checked; it's $18 a bottle, so it's not super expensive.
C'est fort.
A lot of people, he said it's strong. A lot of people, I had this discussion with a French friend of mine today in the wine business. A lot of people have been saying, oh, we love Chartreuse, but it's very expensive. And he said, well, it's what the market will bear. So, you know, for me, it's worth it. I know it's not super cheap, but I love it. But I do love this. This is made by the Chartreuse brothers, or the monks. And the first time I went to Chartreuse, it's in a monastery. La première fois que je suis allé à la Chartreuse, I took the tour. We had a guided tour, and it was very, it was kind of corny but fun. You know, they had like models of monks standing over cauldrons. En France, il y a beaucoup de musées dans les villes.
Des
France,
musées locaux.
Wait, France has a lot of local museums. Like there's a prune museum in Gascony. There's a walnut
Artisanal.
museum. Yeah, there's everything. So I went to the Chartreuse. It was really interesting. But the woman, the guide said, the tour was in English, and she said, you know, she was, and the brothers here, you know, these brothers came together to make Chartreuse. And I said to my friend who I was with, I said, well, it's so amazing that these three brothers all decided to do this business together. What a coincidence. And he said, they're monks. I was like, oh, okay. Parce que le guide a dit, les trois frères fait ça. J'ai dit, c'est quelle chance, trois frères veulent faire la même chose. Et Fred a dit, oui, c'est les frères, les religieux. So, I'm not the sharpest tool in the drawer.
Mais ça vient de la même région, du massif de la Chartreuse.
Oui, c'est fait par les frères Chartreuse.
Ah oui, je me souvenais pas.
Oui, so, d'accord. All right, well, we opened some new bottles today, and I hope that was as interesting for you as it was for me. Let's see if there's any more things. A lot of people want to say hi to Romain. Bonjour, Romain. Yes, we are happy today. It was very sunny. It's 47 degrees in South Carolina. Well, it was 4 degrees here the other day, which is cold, but a friend of mine sent me a picture from Chicago, Ohio in Belgium, that they had snow. In Raleigh, North Carolina,
Super.
congratulations on selling out. At first, I would sell out. No, I bought all this stuff. But you're welcome and thank you for buying the books, the signed books. The bookstore is a small independent bookseller in Wisconsin that had the sale, so it's nice to support them. All right, so I guess that's it for today. So tomorrow, make sure you come back, because tomorrow we're going to do coffee. We're going to do Café Crème avec David de Belleville-Boulerie.
Ah, tomorrow.
Oui.
Ah,
Il
ça,
va
c'est
faire un
super.
café crème.
It's a very, very interesting person.
Yeah, and David's very interesting. Okay, that was a delivery.
C'est la livreur?
Oui.
Ah,
Okay.
je vais aller voir.
No, ça va.
Ouais.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock this time. Oh, and also, tomorrow I'm going to be on twice. Tomorrow I'm going to be here at 6 o'clock Paris time, like normal, which is noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And when I'm done doing all these videos, I'm going to get a job doing time converting for people. So tomorrow night I'll be on at 10 p.m. Paris time, which I think is 4 p.m. in New York and 1 p.m. in Pacific. Did I say that right? So the 4 p.m. is Eastern time, and then 1 p.m. is Pacific. I'll post this. But I'm going to be on with my publisher, 10 Speed Press. I'm going to be talking about French bartending, what bottles to buy, a different point of view. I'm going to make another drink as well. So you have two chances tomorrow night, but come back here at 6 o'clock and I'll tell you about the one that's later. But thank you for coming and thanks for following along. And if you have questions, yesterday I was unable to post this on Instagram in my feed because of technical issues. So I'm gonna post this hopefully today in the feed. And if you see this and there's anything you wanna see, let me know, because we're gonna be here till at least May 11th. We got notification that we're gonna be confined till then. So I've got a lot of stuff planned. And next week I've got a cognac distiller, Chartreuse person, and so forth. And I might try to get Margot back too, from Comeback, because I love her to pieces. Don't tell him that. J'adore Margot.
Oui, elle est magnifique.
Oui.
Mais tous les gens à Paris sont magnifiques pour le livre de David.
Okay, he
Ça a
said.
été super.
Okay. Well, merci beaucoup.
C'était exceptionnel.
Et à la prochaine fois.
Bye bye, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.